Good morning, everybody. I need you to stop what you are doing right now and give me the next several minutes because what I am about to walk you through is not a routine weather update. This is not a stay aware kind of morning. This is a sit down, pull up a map, and make a plan before you go to bed tonight kind of morning, because what is being set up for tomorrow across a wide swath of the central United States is one of the more alarming single-day severe weather setups I have seen the Storm Prediction Center discuss in a long time. And I want every single person in the threat corridor to understand exactly what is coming, why it is coming, and what they need to do before it arrives. Let me orient you to where we are right now, because context matters enormously when you are trying to understand why tomorrow is shaping up the way it is. Over the past 48 hours, this region has already been absorbing rounds of severe weather. Portions of Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma have seen strong to severe thunderstorms pushing through, dropping significant rainfall onto soil that was already saturated from prior events earlier this month. Hail reports ranging from quarter size to golf ball size have been logged across western Kansas and the Oklahoma Panhandle. Wind damage reports have come in from scattered locations across central Nebraska. Power outages have accumulated in the low tens of thousands across portions of the affected corridor. None of that is the story. That is the prologue. What I am about to describe to you is the story, and the story begins tomorrow. The Storm Prediction Center has placed a moderate risk, that is a level 4 out of 5, across a target zone stretching from central Oklahoma northward through eastern Kansas, western Missouri, and into southwestern Iowa for tomorrow's event. Let me be very clear about what a moderate risk means, because I think a lot of people have heard these risk terms enough that they have started to feel routine. They are not routine. A level 4. Moderate risk is issued by the Storm Prediction Center on only a handful of days each year. It means that widespread, significant, and potentially violent severe weather is expected, not possible, not likely, expected, across the highlighted corridor. When the SPC draws a moderate risk, they are telling you that the atmospheric ingredients are in alignment at a level that demands your complete and undivided attention. That is what tomorrow is. A moderate risk day, landing on a region that has already been through multiple rounds of severe weather in the past week. Let me walk you through the specific atmospheric setup driving tomorrow's threat, because understanding the mechanics helps you understand why the meteorology community is treating the system with such a high level of concern. A powerful upper-level trough, a deep, negatively tilted trough, is forecast to push eastward out of the Rockies and across the high plains overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. Negative tilt is important. A negatively tilted trough is an upper-level feature that is oriented in a specific way that dramatically enhances the potential for severe weather at the surface. It forces stronger upper-level divergence over the target area, which acts like a giant atmospheric vacuum, pulling air upward, enhancing lift, and helping surface-based thunderstorm complexes organize and sustain themselves far longer and far more intensely than a more neutrally tilted system would. Ahead of this trough, a surface dry line is forecast to develop and push eastward across the Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma, and into central Kansas through the late morning and afternoon hours tomorrow. That dry line is going to be the focal point, the trigger mechanism, for tomorrow's storm initiation. As the dry line sweeps east, it is going to encounter a warm, deeply moist air mass already in place across Oklahoma and Kansas. The SPC's own discussion specifically references surface dew point temperatures, expected to climb into the lower to middle 70s across central and eastern Oklahoma tomorrow afternoon. Lower to middle 70s, that is Gulf of Mexico moisture of a quality that you typically see in July and August, not in the current month. When you put July quality Gulf moisture under a powerful negatively tilted upper trough with a well-defined dry line trigger, the thermodynamic environment you get is extraordinary. The SPC is explicitly forecasting MLCAPE values, that is mixed layer convective available potential energy, the measure of atmospheric instability, of 3,000 to 3,500 joules per kilogram across the warm sector tomorrow afternoon. 3,500 joules of CAPE is not just extreme. That is the kind of instability number that makes the most experienced operational meteorologists in this country lean forward in their chairs and start making phone calls. And then there is the wind shear. Effective bulk wind shear values tomorrow are expected to reach 55 to 70 knots across the primary threat corridor. 55 to 70 knots of effective shear on 3,500 joules of CAPE produces one specific kind of storm, the discrete, long-track violent supercell, not the garden variety hail producer, not the pulse storm that fires and falls apart in 30 minutes. The organized, rotating supercell thunderstorm, the kind of storm that can drop a tornado on the ground and keep it there for 30 miles or 60 miles or more, that is the storm mode the SPC is anticipating for tomorrow. That is the storm mode that demands your full attention today so that you are not making preparation decisions tomorrow when the sirens are already going off. The specific communities in the primary threat zone for tomorrow need to hear their names said clearly. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Enid, Oklahoma. Wichita, Kansas. Dodge City, Kansas. Joplin, Missouri. Springfield, Missouri. These are not small rural communities with limited emergency management infrastructure. These are cities, mid-sized to large, populated with complex transportation networks and tens of thousands of residents who may or may not have shelter plans in place. But population density does not protect you from a violent tornado. What protects you is knowing it is coming, knowing where your shelter is, and knowing how you're going to receive the warning when the moment arrives. For every city I just named, and for every small town and rural county in between them, this is your window. Right now, today. This is your preparation window. I want to spend specific time on the tornado component of tomorrow's threat because I think it is the piece that requires the most direct communication. The SPC's Day 2 discussion, and I want you to understand, this is language being used more than 24 hours before initiation, which tells you how well-defined this setup already is, explicitly flags a significant tornado parameter of 5 or greater across portions of central Oklahoma and southern Kansas tomorrow afternoon. A significant tornado parameter of 5 or greater in the SPC's own operational discussion is not casual language. That value reflects an overlap of extreme instability, extreme low-level wind shear, and a low lifting condensation level, a low cloud base, that together produce the most favorable environment for strong to violent long-track tornadoes on the EF2 to EF5 scale. CNN is specifically reporting that tomorrow's setup has the potential to produce multiple significant tornadoes, with at least a few that could be rated EF3 or higher if the environment performs as forecast. EF3 or higher. Those are tornadoes with winds between 136 and 165 miles per hour. Those are tornadoes that destroy well-built homes and toss cars like they are paper cups and do not distinguish between brick construction and wood frame. If a tornado of that intensity tracks over a populated area tomorrow, the outcome for people without shelter is catastrophic. There is no other word for it. Now I need to tell you about something that has been under-discussed in the coverage I have seen so far, and that is the hail threat tomorrow. The same environment producing the tornado risk, extreme CAPE, organized supercell mode, a deep moist layer, also produces hail. Baseball-sized hail, softball-sized hail. The SPC's discussion specifically mentions a significant hail parameter of 3 or greater co-located with the tornado threat across the primary zone. What that means practically is that the supercells tomorrow are not going to be polite enough to just produce tornadoes in open fields. These storms are going to rain baseball-sized and softball-sized hail on everything in their path. Vehicles, rooftops, windows, greenhouses, grain storage, livestock operations, every piece of exposed infrastructure in a corridor that stretches from northwestern Texas all the way to the Kansas-Missouri border. Every vehicle parked outside in that corridor should be moved into a garage or covered structure today. Not tomorrow morning, today. A softball-sized hailstone falling at terminal velocity does not glance off a windshield. It goes through it. Every vehicle in the threat zone that is sitting in an open parking lot or driveway tonight is a vehicle that could be totaled by tomorrow evening. Let me address the overnight and Friday continuation of this event, because this is not a system that fires, does its damage, and moves on by evening. The supercell phase tomorrow afternoon is expected to evolve into a squall line, a mature, organized mesoscale convective system, as the storms approach the Mississippi Valley tomorrow night. That squall line is going to push eastward into Missouri, Arkansas, western Tennessee, and southern Illinois through the overnight hours. And it is going to carry with it a damaging straight-line wind threat and an embedded QLCS tornado threat. QLCS tornadoes, quasi-linear convective system tornadoes, are produced by the squall line itself, rather, than by discrete rotating supercells. And they are particularly dangerous because they form with very little warning time. They often occur at night when people are asleep, and they are frequently rated EF1 to EF2, strong enough to cause fatal damage to mobile homes and poorly constructed structures. Communities in the path of tomorrow night's squall line need to understand that the squall line is not a weakened afterthought from the afternoon supercell phase. It is a new, mature threat in its own right, and it is going to arrive when the fewest people are awake and monitoring. This is the moment in this video where I am going to ask you to do something specific if you have not done it yet, and I am going to ask you to do it before you go to sleep tonight. Every person in the tornado threat corridor needs a reliable overnight warning solution. Your phone, sitting across the room on your nightstand with the volume all the way down and do not disturb enabled, is not a warning solution. Your phone waiting for a push notification to vibrate and hoping the buzz is enough to pull you out of a deep sleep is not a warning solution. A direct phone call to your specific GPS location, a call that rings through Do Not Disturb, that tells you your exact location is under a tornado warning right now, get up and get to shelter. That is a warning solution. That is what you need for tomorrow night. Whatever service or system gives you that direct location-specific do not disturb piercing phone call, set it up before you go to sleep tonight. The setup takes minutes. A tornado warning at 2 in the morning that you sleep through is functionally the same as no warning at all. Please do not let that be your tomorrow. I also need to talk about the flooding component of this event, because severe weather outbreaks are not just about wind and tornadoes, and this week's setup is no exception. The Weather Prediction Center is carrying a level 3 out of 4 flash flood risk for portions of eastern Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, and southwestern Missouri for tomorrow's event. A level 3 flash flood risk means significant and life-threatening flash flooding is expected in the highlighted area, with intense rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour possible within the supercell core and within the squall line's heavy precipitation band. The soil across this region is already compromised from the prior rainfall events of the past several days, and drainage systems in urban areas are already approaching capacity. River gauges across the Arkansas River Basin and the Neosho. River basin are running elevated. When you add 2 to 3 inches of rainfall per hour on top of soil that cannot absorb it and urban drainage systems that cannot handle it, you get flash flooding that can transform parking lots into lakes and turn low water crossings into death traps in minutes. Every person in eastern Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, and southwestern Missouri needs to know their flood escape routes today. Every person in those areas needs to commit to a simple, non-negotiable rule. If there is water flowing across a road, you turn around. Not tomorrow. Not after you test the depth with your bumper. You turn around immediately and you find another route. Flooded roads kill people every severe weather season because drivers convince themselves the water is shallow enough. Tomorrow's rainfall rates will make that assumption fatal. Here's what I need you to take away from everything I have told you in this video. And I need you to hear this as clearly as I can possibly communicate it. Tomorrow is not a watch and see day. It is not a check the radar in the afternoon day. It is not a day where preparation can wait until the sirens tell. It is time. Tomorrow is a day where the level of atmospheric energy in place, the quality of the moisture, the strength of the wind shear, and the organization of the triggering mechanism are all aligned in a way that the Storm Prediction Center has formally classified as a moderate risk, level 4 out of 5, across a populated and already weather-stressed corridor from central Oklahoma to southwestern Iowa. The preparation decisions that matter most for tomorrow are the ones that happen today. Here's your action list. First, if you are in the moderate risk zone, central Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, western Missouri, southwestern Iowa, execute your shelter plan today. Identify the lowest interior room in your home. Walk your family through it. Put shoes and a phone charger next to the shelter spot. Do not wait until you hear thunder. Second, move every vehicle you care about into covered parking before tonight. Baseball to softball-sized hail is on the table tomorrow, and it will not ask for permission. Third, charge every device you own, phone, tablet, battery pack, weather radio, to 100% before tomorrow morning and keep them charged all day. Fourth, establish your overnight warning protocol before you go to sleep tonight. Get the direct call system, set it up, test it if you can. Do not rely on a push notification to save your life at 2 in the morning. Fifth, if you live near any waterway, creek, stream, river, or low water crossing in eastern Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, or southwestern Missouri, know your flood exit routes now and commit to the turnaround, don't drown rule without exception. Sixth, and I mean this with every bit of sincerity I can put into a sentence, share this video with every person you know who lives in Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Arkansas, or Tennessee. Not everybody follows severe weather coverage. Not everybody has a meteorologist in their family. Not everybody knows that a moderate risk day with Cape values of 3,500 joules and shear values of 70 knots and a significant tornado parameter of 5 is not a routine weather day. You watching this video right now gives you information that can save the life of someone you love if you pass it along. I am going to be live tomorrow from the moment storm initiation begins along the dry line through the overnight squall line push across the Mississippi Valley. That live stream is where you're going to get real-time storm updates, warned storm locations, and ongoing situational awareness throughout the most dangerous hours of tomorrow's event. Subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and make sure you are ready to pull up. That live stream the moment the first tornado-warned supercell fires tomorrow afternoon. I will see you in that live stream. Between now and then, make your plan, execute your preparation, and stay safe out there. I mean it, every single one of you. Stay safe.